Hello friends, welcome to the home learning platform of Hebron. Now, this is our fourth video of BA Chapter 1, that is Nature, Purpose and Scope of Business. And this one be probably our last video of Unit 1. So till last three videos, we have seen economic activity, non-economic activity, then in that case business, profession, employment. Now, in today's lecture, we'll discuss about classification of business activities. Like activities can be of two types, economic, non-economic. Then economic activities can further be classified into three heads, business, profession, employment. Now, when we are talking about business, the business can also be classified into three activities, that is trade, commerce and industry. Business can further be classified into three heads, that is trade, commerce and industry. So, it's a kind of short question that can be asked in section B. Business activities, it can be classified into three heads, trade, commerce and industry. And today we are going to see meaning of trade, its characteristics, types, then meaning of commerce and its characteristics, then difference between trade and commerce, and the last but not the least is meaning of industry and its classification. So today we are going to study four questions. So let me start with meaning of trade. See, whenever in market the exchange of goods and services takes place in return of money and with the motive of profit, because when we are talking about economic activity, we must be getting certain economic reward, and business is also a type of economic activity. Now, trade is a kind of business activity. So, when I am talking about trade, I am talking about business, I am talking about economic activity. So, an exchange of goods or services in return for money, with the motive of profit, then such activity undertaken between the two parties is known as trade. Let us understand the definition that is given in your textbook. Exchange of commodity or services. The important thing is commodity or services. In return of money, what will get in return? Money. With the motive of profit, yes. So, हमने business का define भी देखा था. Any legal economic activity carried out with the purpose of profit. So, when with the purpose of profit an activity is undertaken, that's a legal one. It's known as business. So, business can be classified into three heads, and when we are talking about trade, profit is also the main motive here. Between two parties, yes, the important one is between two persons or two parties is called trade. Once again, exchange of commodity or services in return of money with the motive of profit between two parties. Means अगर आपको definition by heart करनी है तो these points or the words are to be emphasized. Commodity or service, in return you'll be getting a money, your aim, your intention is to get the profit, and the transaction takes place between two parties, two persons, and that is called trade. That is known as trade. See, here I have written two examples, book and bus ticket. I mean, one example is for commodity and another is for service. Say for an example, if you go to a stationery shop, you ask for a book The shopkeeper has given you a book and against that you have paid the amount. So he has exchanged book with you, that is a commodity. Against that you have given money, amount, that is the return. Now the transaction is between two persons, that is you and the shopkeeper, that is a stationary person. Now this transaction is undertaken with the motive of profit. The person sitting at a shop is not there to do any social service. His intention is to generate profit. In the same way, when you are traveling by bus, you ask for a ticket from a conductor. Conductor gives you a ticket and in exchange you give amount to him. So it can be a commodity, it can be a service. Trade means exchange of commodity or services in return for money with the motive of profit between two persons. Now, here are few characteristics of trade. Again, I would like to clear that in your textbook characteristics are given in full sentence. I have mentioned only an indicating words. Number one, economic activity. तो चलो थोड़ा रिवर्स चलते हैं. What is trade? It's a kind of business activity. What is business? It's a kind of economic activity. So, economic activity, further classification is business, profession, employment. In business, the further classification is trade, commerce, industry. So, ultimately, when we are talking about trade, an activity undertaken by exchanging a money with the motive of profit, yes, it's an economic activity. Number two, two parties. In the meaning, in the definition, it is clear that in trade, there are two parties. One is the buyer, another one is the seller. One is the buyer, another one is the seller. Then, number three, exchange. See, in the beginning of the definition, we have written exchange. In the example of book, you were exchanging the money and the shopkeeper was exchanging the book. So, in trade, exchange is essential. Exchange is essential. Then, ownership. Yes, and ownership is transferable in case of trade. For example, when you have paid amount to that shopkeeper, then the ownership of that book can be retained by you, is to be retained by you. Means that ownership is transferred from a shopkeeper to you. And that shopkeeper has purchased from the distributor. So at that time the ownership was transferred from distributor to the retailer. And then it transferred from that retailer to you. So ownership is transferable, that is transfer of ownership. Amount is paid. Either you exchange the commodity or you get the service or you render the service. What we are exchanging, a commodity or service in return of money. So an amount is to be paid or an amount is to be received. The next is continuous activity. Economic activity is also a continuous activity. Business is also a continuous activity. So as trade is a part of business, it is also a continuous activity. Trading or the trade activities are to be undertaken on a regular basis. It cannot be undertaken on alternate days. The trading activities must be on a regular basis. So it is continuous activity. Next is value in money. Yes. Whatever amount you pay, when it comes to measure its value, the value can be measured in terms of money. Yes. When it was a barter system, goods and services were exchanged against the goods and services because there was no common measurement of value. Nowadays we have money as a universally accepted medium of exchange. It is universally accepted and commonly used. So the amount or the value can be measured in terms of money. The last is legal activity. A trade can never be for illegal activity. Suppose an individual has purchased a weapon, a gun, at rupees 1 lakh. He is selling the same at the rate of 2 lakh. So you will say, sir, see, there is an exchange of gun. Gun is a commodity. There are two parties, buyer and the seller. He has purchased that weapon at 1 lakh, he is selling at 2 lakh, so 1 lakh is the profit. And yes, it is between the two parties again. So it's a trade? No, it's not a trade because it is an illegal activity. Business is always carried out for legal economic activities. Legal economic activities. It cannot be undertaken for any illegal activity. So this was about trade. Now let us talk about the types of trade. See, I have written that there are two types of trade. Number one, internal trade. Number two, international trade. Now, when we are talking about internal trade, I can say this is the trade which is carried out within the country. And international trade means the trade which is carried out between two countries. Now, internal trade, a trade which takes place within the boundaries of a nation. When a trade is undertaken between Gujarat and Maharashtra, a trade is undertaken between Ahmedabad and Bangalore. When the apples of Kashmir are being sold in Ahmedabad and the mangoes of Gujarat are being sold in the other parts of the nation, then such trade is known as internal trade. So a trade within the country, a trade within the boundaries of a country, it's known as internal trade. It is known as internal trade. That internal trade can be between two cities, it can be between two states. It means within the different regions of the same nation. Between different regions of the same nation. That internal trade can be of two types, retail trade and wholesale trade. Retail and wholesale. When a seller purchases the goods in a small quantity from the wholesaler and supplies the same to the customer, it is known as retail trade. A shopkeeper nearby your residence houses are retailer because they purchase the goods either from the dealer or from the distributor or from the wholesaler and supplies the same to the customer, that is to you. So that trade is known as retail trade. And wholesale trade, when a person purchases the goods in a large quantity, purchases the goods in a bulk from the producer, manufacturer or distributor and supplies the same to the retailer, not to the customer, to the retailer, then that trade is known as wholesale trade. About the services of retailer and wholesaler, about the types of internal trade, we'll undertake the study in chapter number 9. BA chapter number 9. The name of that chapter is internal trade. In internal trade, we'll undertake the study of retail trade and wholesale trade. So, number 2 is international trade, that is between two countries. When a trade takes place outside the boundaries. When a trade crosses the boundaries of a nation, the mangoes of Gujarat, which were sold in Kashmir, if the same mangoes are being sold in USA, it is an international trade. The apples of Kashmir, if they are available in Japan, in China, then it is an international trade. Same with electronic products of China and Japan are being sold in India. That is known as international trade because here the trade is between two countries. Between two countries. So, international trade means when a trade takes place between two countries. When the trade crosses the boundary, it is known as international trade. It is known as foreign trade also. It is known as external trade also. We'll call it international trade. Now, international trade can be further classified into three parts. Number one, import trade. Number two, export trade. And number three, re-export trade. Number one, import trade. Number two, export trade. And number three, that is re-export trade. The detailed study of the chapter will be in chapter number 10. The chapter number 10 is international trade or foreign trade. In that chapter, we'll undertake the procedure of import, procedure of export, and the basic meaning of re-export of trade, or that is re-export trade. So, this was about trade, its meaning, characteristics, and types. Now, let us talk about commerce. See, if someone asks you that you are studying in which standard, so we won't say I study in 11th standard, we say I study in 11th commerce or 11th general. 11th commerce means you have opted for a term which can lead you, which can help you to be a businessman. So when we are talking about commerce, it's not that much limited term. It's a wide term. It has a broad meaning. It has a broad meaning. In simple sense, I can say that if this is to be treated as a trade, then this is commerce. If trade is limited, it is confined, then a commerce has a wide and a broad meaning. Commerce is what? A trade and auxiliary services to trade. A trade and the auxiliary services to trade, which means commerce में trade तो होगा ही, the exchange of commodity or services in return of money with the motive of profit between two persons, ये तो होगा, but we are going to add some auxiliary activities. We are going to add some auxiliary activities. So, the meaning of commerce is trade and auxiliary services to trade. Trade and auxiliary services to trade. Now, what are these auxiliary services? Auxiliary services can be defined as the related services, connected services, those services which are used to make the product available to the last customer, to the end customer, to the end customer. So these services can be transportation, it can be communication, it can be insurance, it can be warehouses, it can be banking, it can be financial institutions. Yes, all these are the services related to trade, services which are connected to trade. So, the meaning of commerce is trade and auxiliary services to trade. Trade and auxiliary services to trade. Now, here are a few characteristics. Number one, part. Commerce is not a part of trade. Trade is a part of commerce. See, if I have drawn this circle for commerce and the small circle is for trade, so what I can explain, trade is a part of commerce. Commerce is not a part of trade. Trade is a limited concept, commerce is a wide concept. So number one, trade is a part of commerce. Trade is a part of commerce. Number two, economic activity. Yes, business was an economic activity. Trade is also an economic activity. In the same way, commerce is also an economic activity, as all the auxiliary services and trade are carried out with the purpose of some economic gain. Without economic gain, no activity is carried out. So it is economic activity. Number three, auxiliary services are helpful. Let it be banking, insurance, warehouses, telecommunication, transportation. All these services are very helpful to trade. So if these auxiliary services, now see, I have drawn a down arrow here, which means auxiliary services are required. Auxiliary services are part of commerce. Without auxiliary services, trade will become quite difficult. And with the help of auxiliary services, goods can be easily made available to the last user. So if these auxiliary services are available at a reasonable price, the product can be supplied at a fair price. See, cost of transportation, cost of insurance, rate of interest on the fund borrowed from the bank, charges to be paid to the warehouse owner. If these all costs can be bring down, means these services are available at a reasonable price, then a product can be supplied at a very fair price. Now these auxiliary services are demand oriented. Demand oriented means it's not necessary that all the services are required to all the businessmen in the equal quantity or at the same time, simultaneously. No. These services are demand oriented, yet these services are continuous. These services are demand oriented, yet these services are continuous. What does it mean? It's not necessary that all the services are required by all the producers in the equal manner. No. And the last point is time and place utility, which means with the help of these auxiliary services, time utility can be created and place utility can be created. A product can be made available at any time, at any place. A product produced in Ahmedabad can be available across the world, that is place utility. It can be available at any time, that is time utility. After the study of meaning of trade and commerce, now the difference of trade and commerce will be more clear. Only 3 points we need to study. Number one is meaning. That meaning we have already seen. So I am not going to write the meaning over here, but we are just going to repeat it. Same way, meaning of commerce we have already seen. Now I am not going to write it here. We are just going to repeat it. So meaning of trade, exchange of goods and services in return of money with the motive of profit between two parties is known as trade. So that one will be the meaning of trade. Commerce, trade and auxiliary services to trade, means trade plus auxiliary services to trade is known as commerce. The second point of difference is scope. The scope of trade is limited because here only two activities are carried out, buying and selling. Buyer buys the goods, seller sells the goods. So scope of trade is very limited. And when it comes to scope of commerce, the scope of commerce is very wide. It does not only include buying and selling, it even includes services after sale. Services after sale. Not only the activities of buying and selling, but trade plus auxiliary services. Means the scope of commerce is very wide. The third one is parties. In trade, mostly the parties are known to each other. The parties are known to each other. Means the buyer and the seller. Buyer knows the seller, seller knows the buyer. But when it comes to commerce, the parties are mostly unknown to each other. Because a buyer of America is buying a product from India and a seller of India is selling a product in America, there are chances that the buyer and the sellers are unknown to each other, or they might have communicated, they haven't seen each other in person. So only 3 points: meaning, scope and parties. Meaning, it is as same that we have seen in the previous question. In commerce also the meaning will be as same as we have seen in the previous question. Scope, limited scope. Commerce has a wide scope. In trade, parties are known to each other. In commerce, parties are unknown to each other. That is, parties are not known to each other. So it was a very small but a meaningful difference. Now the last question of the chapter is industry. Business activities classified into 3 heads. Now the third one we are going to discuss, and that is industry. See, industry can further be classified into 3 heads, but before discussing about its classification, let us undertake a basic meaning of industry. Mostly, industry has a relation with the production. Industries are known for converting raw material into finished goods. Industries are mostly useful for making the natural wealth consumable by the buyer, consumable by the consumer after adding the utility. After the addition of utility. So, what the definition is given in the book is written here: industry. A process of converting. See, industry includes the process of converting. What to convert? Raw material into finished goods. Raw material into finished goods. But how raw material is to be converted into finished goods? By adding utility. By adding utility means it can be a form utility. Yes, it can be a place utility, time utility. But here they are talking about form utility. Converting the raw material into finished goods after adding the utility to satisfy the human needs. To satisfy the human needs, because ultimately consumer is the king of market. So what we need to produce, that is demanded by the consumer. So here this word plays an important role in the definition: to satisfy human needs. If human needs are not satisfied, then that production is waste. So once again, a process of converting raw material into finished goods by adding the utility to satisfy human needs is called an industry. Now, industries can be of 3 types. Industries can be classified into 3 heads. Number 1, primary industry. Number 2, secondary industry. And number 3 is tertiary industry. In very short, When we are talking about primary industry, means those industries which are close to nature. Those industries which are close to nature. Those industries whereby land, water and air plays an important role. Land, water and air plays an important role. These are those industries which are known as the fundamental industries of the country. Let us talk about agriculture. Land is required, water is required, air is required. Let us talk about animal husbandry. Let us talk about fisheries. Let us talk about cattle rearing. All these industries are based on nature. And these industries provides raw material to the next industry. These primary industry provides raw material to the next industry, that is secondary industry. Now here, with the help of machines and technology, with the help of machines and technology, natural wealth that you have received from the primary industry, mining can also be added here. Agriculture, fisheries, cattle rearing, farming, animal husbandry, mining, whatever natural wealth we have received from the primary industry with the help of machines and technology, that is to be made consumable, and it's known as secondary industry. Sorry, let it be color industry, let it be chemical industry. All these are the example of secondary industries. Number 3, tertiary industries, or we can call it, these industries are those industries which are very close to consumers, which are very close nearer to consumer, and it has a wide scope. Yes, as it is nearer to consumer, as these industries are close to consumer, they have to perform various functions. And tertiary industries can be of two types. One, those goods which are directly consumable by the consumer, that is dairy industry, bakery industry. All these are very nearer to consumer. And the another part is service, that is banking, finance, insurance, transportation, communication, because without the help of tertiary industry, the growth of primary and secondary industries will be hindered. Means if you want to see the growth of secondary industry, there must be a growth of primary industry. If you want to see the growth of tertiary industry, there must be a growth of secondary industry. And if the primary and secondary industries are developed, but there is absence of tertiary industry, product won't reach to the consumer. So students, here we end our first chapter of BA. We'll see you in the next video for the chapter 2. So take care, stay healthy, stay safe. Thank you.